How's everybody doing today, man? Shout out to you guys. I appreciate every MVP in the world. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to all the followers, everybody who's on the channel. Shout out to TikTok if you're watching on the live right now. Move over to YouTube, join the chat. Hey guys, I'm RicoKnows. It's Tuesday, second day of the football season. I know, it's week 0. We just did our first podcast yesterday about the ACC and the, Conference USA. And today's episode is the Big 10 and the MAC. And I just want to show you guys, some people ask me questions like, what's the difference between being an MVP on YouTube versus Patreon, right? And I want to show you guys a good example of that right now. Shout out to you guys. If you didn't know, MVPs are my members, people who get all the information. Now, everybody asked me today, I did a live stream today while I was at the dealership, and the guy kept asking me, like, what about this prediction? What about this prediction? And I'm like, bruh, the videos exist. So what you see here in the background is Patreon. Get the app. It's on your phone, or go to the website, Patreon. Once you get to Patreon, Patreon, you get to Patreon, you will see RicoKnows. Do a search for it. You'll find it. You see the big logo. You'll see the background. Join it. We're cool. When you get here and you become an MVP, the first thing you should do is go to the search bar and search Discord. Discord. And learn how to connect your Patreon app to the Discord server. It's really important. I want you to think of Discord like a message board, like a chat room. Old school AOL chat room, the disc in the mail, put it in. That was my modem. And then, hey, hang up the phone, bro. I'm trying to talk to this girl. Yeah, think of that as chat rooms like that. The point I'm trying to make is you want to get to the Discord server. That's where all the MVPs are. That's where you can get access to all the picks, props, parlays, everything, right, that you guys always keep asking for. But it's really where you can interact with 1,000 other people who think just like you, right? I can see the MVPs right now on the Discord server. I'll pull it up. I'll show you right here. They're talking about stuff and all the games and all kinds of stuff right now. They're all interacting. If you see a green name, that's an MVP. Green name, these are all the channels where MVPs can only see. If you show up to the channel, let me show you guys something. It says welcome here. All these people are showing up to the Discord server. If you're not green, you're not an MVP. You didn't connect your Patreon or YouTube account to the Discord server. And there's tutorials on how to do this. We have a help desk if you need the help. But we have videos already made to show you how to connect them if you don't know how. And you'll see all these people join. And they're white. And I'm like, nah, man. The people who go green, they know what they're doing. They've connected, and they will be able to get onto the stage, which is where we talk about the UFC fights and all the picks for the week. You need to be able to get into this room. Only 300 people can get in the room at a time. You want to be able to get on the stage. They can get to all my props and my picks and my parlays. These are all the screenshots of all the props I post to all the MVPs. All the different bets you should make. Here's the weekly picks, the charts. All the charts you care about. You can't see any of this unless you connect your Patreon account to the Discord server. You can also connect your YouTube account to the Discord server. But you have to validate who you are to see this stuff. Now, there'll be somebody out there screaming up and down, Rico, I already paid you. Give me my access. You need to give yourself access. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It's between you and the Discord server. And there's a video showing you how to do that with a bunch of other things. As a matter of fact, we have a channel here called How to Connect. And you see these people putting test. And you see Jack here just tested, and he still hasn't got it right. These guys got it right. And I posted the video to teach you how to do it in the channel. I've posted it many times. And some people figure it out, and some people don't. You'll see people who don't figure it out. What up, big homie? You didn't figure it out, big homie. Big homie 45 did not figure it out. Obviously, Brian's been around for over a year. He knows what's up. Shout out to Willie Bobo. He knows what's up. So it's just, you got to learn how to connect it. We can help you through it. It's a 5-minute process. But this is the difference here, okay? If you come to the homepage of Patreon, you will see a video like this on the homepage. First video. I just did my final Big 10 predictions. Win totals for the Big 10 team. So if you say, Rico, how many games is Oregon going to win? How many games is Michigan going to win? How many games I'll never answer you because it's right here. It's a 33-minute long video. I go over the entire conference. I give my win total predictions for the entire conference. And I tell you which ones are the best bets to make. I tell you what you should be doing. I recommend different parlays or props or ideas, and I explain to you the value behind things. I'm an expert at this. This is what I do, trust me. But it's locked. You can't see it unless you're an MVP. Now, if you go to YouTube, that same video is here. You just have to know where to go. And it's down here under members only videos. On the homepage, there's a bunch of different playlists, members only videos, and there it is. There's a bunch of them. There's a lock from yesterday. Delaware State at Hawaii. You see the difference in the layout. You have to find the right playlist. Go to the playlist and start sifting through the playlist for the one that pertains to you. There's one here for MVP locks. You're going to see nothing but UFC fight picks for the offseason. This will be littered with UFC and college football picks moving forward. Excuse the noise. Ash is just shaking it out right now. I got my pit next to me. The point I'm trying to make is I want you guys to see something. This is a picture of a bet worth making tonight. We have Dana White Contender Series. This is a bet you should be making. You can't see this on YouTube all the time. It's not always posted there. I'll do you one better. I woke up last night. Now, this is the live tab right here. This is the live stream. If you go over here and you click on, well, it says past live streams. You can see it right here. That's yesterday's. And today's show, you click on live up here, you'll be able to see it. And this podcast that we're doing right now will show up here when we're done. So they're in different formats depending on what channel you're on. But I want to show you this video right here. I made this video 14 hours ago. Do the math. It is currently 1,700 right now. 14 hours ago is 3 a.m. I posted this video at 3 a.m. because I was working all night on this video. I will show you what happened yesterday. Yesterday, I had an MVP reach out to me on the Discord server, and he said, what did he say? Where is it at? Contender Series video soon. A young man wrote to me, Usman, I don't know who he is. He said, Contender Series video soon. Dana White Contender Series. Rico, we need the video. And he sent it. He wrote it at 8:41 p.m. I was getting ready to lay down for the night. I was going to just wind down, watch Get Gotti. It's a documentary on Netflix. I want to know what they did to get John Gotti in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So I'm watching a documentary, and I see this message. And I said to myself, damn it. Contender Series fights are tomorrow. I have to do research on the BIG10 all day. I have to go take my car in for maintenance. I got to do research on the MAC all day. I'm not going to have time to do this video. But these UFC fans are here. It's an MVP. His name is Green. So I got my ass out of bed at midnight and started studying all the fighters for the Contender Series. And I posted a 30-minute video for free. I made it free. Anybody can watch it. Public members, MVPs, anybody. Remember, you can be a free member. You don't have to pay anything. You can just be a free member on the Patreon. I posted the free video, and when I went to YouTube to post that video, they gave me a copyright violation. And that's why we recommend you be a Patreon MVP, because that video doesn't exist anywhere on YouTube. So there's people on YouTube right now. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for being an MVP. We have hundreds of MVPs on YouTube, but you're not getting all the content because YouTube has ridiculous copyright rules. And here, no problem. Shout out to Patreon. You're still going to get all your football picks. Let's just make this very clear. You're still going to get all your football picks. It's just going to look a little different. Okay? You still got to get to the Discord server. I highly recommend it for everybody. If not, you're going to feel like an outsider. Okay? Shout out to all those guys. That's enough of that. I'm not here to do a sales pitch. We're here to talk football. We're here to talk about the BIG10 and the MAC. But before we get into that, I always go over the latest breaking news in college football. So what I like to do is use Unabated Sports. They don't have any opinions on anything. They just post information. Now, the biggest story today is not this. The biggest story today is the starting will linebacker, the star will linebacker for Rutgers, Mohamed Toure, number one, the leader of this defense, the captain of this defense, is just torn his ACL, and he's out for the whole year. And this sucks, man. He tore his ACL back in 2022, missed the whole season, played great last year, was going to do it again, and I totally believe in this defense and everything they're doing. I just sang the praises for Rutgers. The sports books have them at 6.5 wins, and I'm laughing at Vegas. You don't know what you're talking about. I love Rutgers. I'll show you my rankings of the Big Ten, and I'm going to go over this later in the show. But you see Rutgers at number 7 in the conference. Rutgers at 7 ahead of USC. And if you look, it's about Rutgers running back, Monungai. It's about their offensive line, their defensive tackle, who's going to be all conference, their linebackers at 8, and their safeties at 9. I believe in this linebacker room. And they just lost the leader of this defense. An 8 is very, very good. It's equivalent to Ohio State linebackers, in my assessment. And done for the year. Now, when you look at this depth chart, shout out to our lads. They give us something to look at. It's not accurate. I assessed the talent individually, and I went really deep on this team and looked at everybody because I wanted to give an accurate win-loss prediction for my MVPs. So when I was looking at this team and I was looking at the linebackers, yes, Touré's amazing. But number 11 and number 2 don't pop on tape like they need to. I understand Moses Walker is probably going to get on the field first. Out of all the guys on the bench, Moses Walker's the guy that I think gets on the field to fill this gap. Okay? I think Tyreen Powell has a lot of carry now, but Moses Walker's going to fill in this gap ahead of Abram Wright, ahead of 11. When I watch tape, number 2, okay? And then I'm going to say something crazy. DJ. This dude over here, 28. I'm calling my shot now. 28 will be up here. 28 will be on the field. 28's going to end the season with probably more tackles than 11. I think 28's getting playing time, bro. I'm telling you. DJ. Tape looks great. I like this linebacker room. It's deep. I think they're still okay. They have amazing safeties. They have good players at every level. And they still have a dominant offensive line with a really good running back. The defense is going to lead them, and this sucks because this was their team captain. Powell will pick up the slack. He is the middle linebacker. He is a senior. They're all seniors, bro. They're all seniors. They've all been around for many, many years. They're all seniors. Now we get a medical red shirt. And let me see this dude, DJ, break the 2 deep. And you guys are going to remember where you heard it first. RicoKnows. Connor Formia will not forget. My boy Connor don't forget shit, bro. Let's talk about the next news. Tate Rodemaker, going to be the starter at Southern Miss. I just told you, Florida State transfers don't start anywhere else that are worth a damn. And here we go. We got one starting at Southern Miss. It's not quite the same. But congratulations. J.C. French named the starter. I told you guys on the episode of Top 25 Teams in the Group of 5. I have a live stream for it on YouTube. Top 25 Teams in the Group of 5. I talked about how I didn't believe in Dexter Williams, the quarterback for Georgia Southern. I didn't think he was any good. I think what I said was I don't know enough about him to believe in him. I want to be careful. Because people watch these videos and they get all offended. I said something bad about them, and then they write me a DM. And I say people, I'm talking about like the players, their mom, their dad. It's like, bro, somebody's got to lose these games. Somebody's got to lose. You can't all be winners. Not everybody became great in the offseason. Not every team improved. Somebody regressed. And they're not being honest with themselves. But every fan base, if you talk to every fan base, they were all convinced they all got better. And I'm looking at Georgia Southern. I'm like, ooh, well, at least you don't have Davis Brin anymore to throw in more interceptions. But, bro, this one's going to be tough. And then I said, oh, by the way, I like J.C. French. Watched him play in high school. Think he's a stud. No shame he couldn't start at Memphis. Should have never went to Memphis. They got a monster. Seth Hennigan's not losing that job. So J.C. French transfers back home. He's a Georgia kid. Think he played at Walton. Like him a lot. And here he is. Wins the starting job. I'm excited for him, man. That's pretty cool. That's a gangster move, by the way. You transfer back home to Georgia Southern, and you're third string, and they're bringing in transfers, and you beat them all out. Gangster. I like that. That's a leader to me. That's a winner. Cool. Lenora Sellers, name the starter. Okay, like we didn't know. There's no quarterback battle there. Just an idiot transferring to South Carolina and thinking he can still play in the SEC. And I'll talk about that on Thursday. Patrick Garwu, full go in practice. If you don't know Garwu's existence, he was a former running back at Boston College. Very injury prone. And he was injured earlier this offseason. And it looks like he's healthy. He's a good player, by the way. Good player when healthy. Beanie Wells, participating non-contact in drills. Look at these damn prima donnas, bro. You're going to get tackled in about a week, bro. Colby Young, dealing with a hamstring injury. Guys, hamstring injuries are nagging. They suck. I think my final race in high school, I fell in the hurdles, if I remember correctly. I fell in the hurdles at the conference championships. I had a nagging hamstring injury. And I think my glasses fell off. I used to wear glasses back then. I just ran it in. Didn't even give a shit. Just whatever, bro. You can't shake a hamstring injury, man. They just keep flaring up. Roderick Robinson, beast of a player, still dealing with turf toe. Shout out to Dion. Let it heal, bro. You don't want to be walking around with 8 toes. I'm standing 8 toes on business. Okay. Kamar Wheaton out for the season after knee surgery. Damn shame. I just mentioned him in the ACC podcast when I talked about SMU running back room. I thought it was very deep, and I went all the way to the third running back, who was Kamar Wheaton, the former Alabama kid, and I said, yeah, they need to use him more. Well, they can't use him at all. He's done for the season. So we'll have to see a breakout running back at third string. I got to figure out who that is. I'll do research and have an answer for you by next week, but I don't know right now off the top of my head. Brett Seether out for the season with a knee injury. This is a former Georgia tight end. Couldn't get on the field at Georgia, so he transferred to Georgia Tech. And he's injured. That's a damn shame. They needed him to be decent. They needed him to be healthy. Georgia Tech needs all their weapons. They need to hit on all cylinders. They have a very daunting schedule. And like I said, it doesn't really matter. Their defense sucks. Their defense needs all the work. Offense is fine. They'll still figure out a way to get the ball down the field without Seether, but just a damn shame. Shout out to the young man. I hope he gets better. Preston Stone will start the opener for SMU. And then it says, Kevin Jennings will also play. Shout out to Evan Kramer on Twitter. I saw him. He liked the comment. I said, of course Kevin Jennings going to also play. They're playing Nevada, bro. Everybody's going to play against Nevada. Don't tell me there's a quarterback battle here. It's Preston Stone. They're going to let Kevin Jennings play because they got a lot of guys that get to play. Fancher, I told you he should be the starter no matter what. Sorsby's the starter, of course. Of course. I told you Sorsby's bad, bro. We're going to talk about it on Big 12 tomorrow. That's a bad man. Y'all don't understand. Watch the tape. That's a dual threat quarterback and a beast of a man. Bad as hell. John Mater being the starter. I'm going to talk about this on Friday. This is unfortunate. And it's just sad, man. College football, these coaches are just stacking players. Don't care. Listen to what I'm saying, and I don't mean to be rude. I don't think college football coaches give a damn about your college career. Players. They do not care about your career. They care about you individually, whatever. Like, they want to be your mentor. No, they want to win games and keep their really high-paying job. And if they lose games, they lose their standard of living. That's a dog-eat-dog world. Like, that's the reality of the situation. I was a martial arts instructor. I was teaching MMA last year. No, it was 2 years ago now. 2 Februaries ago. I was teaching MMA. And I was a MMA instructor for adults for 20 years. Like meat eaters. People who want to be fighters. People with aspirations to be fighters. That's who I was teaching. And I saw a job opening on Indeed.com. I was getting ready to retire from the Army. I said, I'll just teach MMA. That'll be my job, full-time job. I didn't care what the pay was. I got a retirement. I got disability. I'm good, bro. Let me go do this thing. So they call me back at $50,000 a year to do something that people don't do. To do something that people just do for a hobby. I'll do it for $50K. So I go get hired. I go to the gym. I show up. And I start teaching classes. And the main instructor, right? I'm a master combatives instructor. I'm a master martial artist. There's black belts and then there's masters after a certain degree, depending on your practitioner. And he says to me, hey, man, you are so good at instructing. You could do this whole fight house. You could do the whole, and I'm like, well, how many students we got? He said, over 300. I'm like, sweet, bro, let's do it. So he says, just show up tomorrow, 10 a.m. You'll teach all the classes all day. You'll be on the mat 8 to 10 hours a day. I don't care. I love it. It's a labor of love. Let's go. I'm doing it. And I'm out there. I'm Sensei Rico. I've got a gi on at times. I don't have a gi on. I'm loving it. I'm doing it. Until the classes show up. And in the classes were people who didn't belong there. There were people there who were just trying to get in shape, trying to build their character. There were kids who didn't want to be there. Their parents were forcing them to be there. There were kids. I taught whole classes to kids. And I thought, what the hell is this? So after like a week or two, and I remember I took Kim to some of the classes. Shout out to Kim Jones, my significant other. I took Kim to some of the classes. Kim's like, these people don't belong here. Some of these people are not fighters. Some of these people aren't real. And I'm just like, oh my God. At least the adults in the evening were really good. They were energetic and motivated. But the point I'm trying to make is I went to the gym owner and I said, yo, man, we need to scale this down a little bit. We need just the ass kickers in here. I'm losing, not credibility, I'm just losing efficiency when I have to teach this awkward dude over here how to throw combos. Like, they don't know what they're doing. I spent 2 days teaching how to hand wrap. What is this shit? Like, but I'm in a frame of mind of I've been teaching real fighters. And now I'm teaching this shit. And the gym owner looked at me like I was crazy. Homie wanted more students and did not care the quality of the student. He just needed more. Didn't care the ability of them to fight. Didn't care about what they were getting in return. I was like, well, if I have this many people, they're not going to get this many rotations on the tie pads. They're not going to do that. I'm explaining to him the logic behind why I need to reduce this. And he's telling me we need more. I don't give a shit what they're getting out of it. I need more. Because bottom line is he needs to make more money. He needs more students. When I look at college football players, they are that guy. Or college football coaches. They just need more and more. They don't care that there's only one football. They don't care how many people are on the field or how many people are going to get reps. They need more. So they'll lie to you and tell you, hey, we're going to develop you. We're going to make you a better football player. It's not true. You're not getting developed if you get no reps at practice. You're not getting developed if you're not in the rotation. You just become an afterthought. You're just a dude on the wall. Coach don't know your name. They don't care, though, because they want to get their best 85. I had a young man reach out to me, and I was representing him in the transfer portal this offseason. He was an FCS all-conference offensive lineman. And he said to me, Mr. Rico, please help me. I want to go Power 4. So I said, okay, you want to go Power 4. Let me look at your tape. I look at his tape. He says, who should we reach out to? So I start reaching out to teams. And after a week, his mother calls me, and we talked on the phone for a while, an hour, maybe 2. And I explained to her, like, hey, listen, I don't care what these coaches say. We can't go here. We can't go here. We can't go here. And he was like, no. I just got a call, And I said, hey, listen, Texas Tech reached out, but I don't think we should go there. He said, why not? I said, well, because I think that they have 2 guys better than you at your position. I think you'd be 3rd string. And it's like his final year of eligibility. And he's leaving the FCS. He wants to be the guy. So I advise him. His mother says, no, we're going to go. We got to do this. This is our opportunity. And he goes on a visit. He calls me mid-visit and goes, these guys just flew me in to make me the 3rd string right guard. They just told me they want to sign me from the transfer portal to be their 3rd string right guard. It's his final season of eligibility. He's trying to increase his draft stock. He's an all-conference FCS kid, and they saw him and said, yeah, we'll offer you. Come on in, bro. Third string offensive coordinator. They don't care. Their job is not to get you on the field. Their job is to improve their roster and win games. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And they're just trying to collect them all, bro. It's a dude hooking up with 20 girls at once. They ain't worried about your feelings. They're just trying to get laid. I bring all this up because Washington State has a transfer quarterback from Brantley. Zevi, he's so good. I'm going to talk about it on Friday. And it's his final year of eligibility. He's coming up from the FCS. And he listened to these coaches at Washington State, and they said, hey, show up. We need you. We need you. Transfer in. We need you. It's a quarterback battle. And they had no intention of starting him. Because now John Mayer, who was already the starter, has now been named the starter. So now you have depth at the quarterback position, but you have a guy who's backing up who will never see the field. Oh, and by the way, that young man that I was advising on where to go, he ended back up in the FCS. He's a starter today. But he had to go back to the FCS because I wasn't going to advise him to ruin his career and never see the field by being on the bench at an FBS team. Just wasn't going to do it. And I said, we'll try again, with somebody else. But we're not doing this. And shout out to Texas Tech and SMU and all the coaches who reached out to me. They were very respectful. They just said, hey, listen, man, don't hate the player, hate the game, whatever it is. Whatever phrase they said, hey, Rico, look, man, we're just trying to increase our talent, whatever that means. So if they see a guy in the transfer portal better than somebody on their roster, they're going to give him an offer. Doesn't mean he's going to play. Doesn't mean you're going to see the field. And that's what they just found out at Washington State. It's unfortunate, man. I don't like it. Andy Jean expected to miss time. This was the spring game MVP 2 years ago at Florida. Florida wide receiver, injuries, still not getting on the field. Expected to return to limited practice soon. Montrell Johnson, running back, Florida. Malik Murphy, starter. We got all this. This is a big deal. Stephen McBride is not on the week 0 depth chart, but they got a ton of wide receivers. And we talked about everybody else for the most part. I'll keep looking, though. Big 10, because I skipped anybody who wasn't Big 10 or the MAC. So let me just keep looking real quick. Big 10 or the MAC. Oh, there's a MAC. Oh, this is huge, by the way. We'll talk about it. Kent State starting quarterback Devin Cargman. He was on the roster last year, and they go ahead and made him the starter. I did not see that coming. EA Sports doesn't have him as the starter. It's Oltowski. So that's a little different. That's a little different. Let's keep going. Big 10 MAC. Big 10 MAC. Big Mac? Big Mac? Is that what I'm saying? Am I saying that over and over and over? What is this? Will Howard named the starter? Come on now. There was no competition here. Tyler Van Dyke, of course. No competition. Minnesota. Been limited in practice. Daniel Jackson. That's okay. They got other receivers now. But yeah, you don't want him getting hurt. Keep it on the low. Keep it on the low. Let's keep going. All right, we move on. Michigan State wide receiver. Sideline a few days with minor injury. C.J. Smith expected to miss the opener. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood. All right, we're going back to August 9th now. Sean Williams dealing with soft tissue injury. Yeah, these dudes are soft as baby shit, bro. These dudes are Charmin. I'm going to jump to the chat here in a little bit. Bear with me. I know you guys are there. We're letting the chat build up. If you got questions, put it in. Jamal Edrin ready for the season. I already told you. This will be a household name. Jamal Edrin will be a household name. I believe he's an NFL wide receiver. Jamal Edrin. I understand he tore his ACL last year, so maybe injury prone and they don't want to draft him. That's a really good player. I turned on the tape and I was super impressed with him. He used to be at FAU about 2 years ago, obviously. MAC and Big 10. All right, we're done. Indiana, E.J. Williams dealing with a pulled hamstring. Rutgers, Kyle Monangai, active in practice. Good. He's their star running back. Hayden Wolf participating in preseason practice. Will be the starting quarterback for Western Michigan. Minnesota, Daniel Jackson, we already talked about it. Marcus Major participating in practice. Impressing people, by the way. It's a whole nother conversation. All right. Washington is considered the Big 10. Not too worried about it. One of the worst teams in the Big 10, by the way. All right, enough of that. Schedule. Let's talk about the schedule for both these teams. Nobody's in week 0. Usually I go to the schedule and then I go to the chat. Nobody is playing out of these conferences in week 0, so there's really no matchups to talk about this week. I will be talking about week 1 matchups next week. So next week when we get to these games, I will be talking about all of these. By the way, weekday games, Thursday, Friday, these are MVP picks. I provide picks on these to the MVPs every single one of these games. The only thing we'll talk about are the Saturday games that need to be talked about and the spreads that aren't on the chart. But weekday games are always on the chart. Shout out to the MVPs. You know what we're dealing with here. So next week, Thursday, Friday will be on the chart. Saturday, there'll be some freebies there. And what I'm referring to is giving you guys free picks if you're not an MVP and you want to be, you want to get here and get the picks for what they are. Reminder, tonight, Dana White Contender Series will be on the Discord server with the MVPs. I already gave out my free prop bet for this. It's just, if you don't know what Dana White Contender Series is, it's a handful of guys trying to make it in the UFC. Winner typically gets a UFC contract, so they're fighting for a chance to make it to the league. That's how it works. You just get to scrap, and the winner makes it to the big show. And this is how we learn about prospects and up-and-coming fighters. A lot of the MVPs watch this because I provide UFC picks. My UFC locks, 83.5% on the season. That will be going down on Saturday. I understand there's 4 games being played. We will be watching the live stream of the games, and then we will switch to the UFC when the fights start. We're always going to do the UFC live stream. Shout out to the MVPs. And that's out of respect for MVPs who stayed with me through the entire offseason. I had MVPs stay January through August, no college football picks to get, and we kept making money all offseason. Shout out to the MVPs. If you left after college football season, I'm not mad at you. But I understand there are some people who only bet on college football, so they showed up September through December, and then they bounced. We got it. But some people kept me afloat all offseason long. Those people, they get all the love, respect, and I will be rocking with them every single Saturday night for the UFC fights. All right, so before I get into the rankings and I start talking about all the teams, I'm going to go to the chat. So if you have a question, get it in now, and then we will start talking about my Big 10 rankings and the teams, and then we'll rock from there. Thank you guys for being here. If you're watching on TikTok, move over to YouTube, get your questions in. Shout out to you guys. Let's get the chat up. Let's go, Willie Bobo. Excuse me, I am still working through all of this. Interact. Boom. Let's go to the top. At the top, Jay says, Mac and Big 10 aren't even similar. Yeah, they're not similar. They are something that I do. I put them together because of proximity. Like, geographically, they're close to one another. I paired up, if you don't remember last season, I used to do all group of 5 conferences on one day. It was Sunday. I would do all the group of 5, and then I would do the Power 5s throughout the week. And then somebody came up with the ingenious idea, hey, Rico, let's pick one group of 5 conference and do them with the Power 5 during the week. So now I combine them. So they're kind of geographically associated if you think about it. ACC is Monday. That's the Atlantic Coast Conference. And I do Conference USA with them. It's just how I get down. CUSA, ACC. I could have did the American, but I decided the Big 12 is more American. And then Sun Belt is with the SEC, the MAC is with them, and the Mountain West used to be with the Pac-12. Since the Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore, now I do the Mountain West with Notre Dame, with Army, and the remaining Pac-12 teams who are Oregon State and Washington State. So all those guys go together on Fridays. And then Fridays, what I can do is a quick hit and an update and a change to anything. But that's when MVPs are getting the charts as soon as possible. And then I get the final chart out Saturday morning. So before all the games start. Every day there will be an updated chart for weekday games, by the way. Prop bets in the whole 9. So shout out to them. But yes, thank you so much. King Utensil just became an MVP. Shout out to you. That's a YouTube MVP right there on the green. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Shout out to Patreon MVPs and YouTube MVPs. If you're a YouTube MVP, your name will be a different color and you'll have a badge. I appreciate you, man. You make my world go round and you make my life possible. Thank you, King Utensil. Congratulations. Hope you watch all the content and you learn a lot about all the teams. Mike, if you guys don't know Mike is back from last year. Mike is a Nebraska homer. He's not a Nebraska truther. He's a Nebraska homer. You can say nothing to Mike. He's convinced Nebraska's winning the national title. I will now read his comment. Mike says, is this the channel owner that had a spreadsheet showing Nebraska projected as the 38th best defense? Let me see where they're at. I have them 44th overall. Did I give them 38 defense? I probably did, man. Sounds pretty good to me. That's respectable to me. For a team that ain't done shit, that sounds pretty good to me. And said Nebraska transfer running back and room sucks too. I don't know about sucks. Sucks is a strong word, Mike. It's a strong word. I think he understands power teams ball. Well, I understand that handing off is going to be essential when you have a freshman quarterback. I like some of the receivers too. But when you have a running back with academic issues and he's no longer on the team, and then all you're left with is Gabe Irving Jr., who I've watched since Buford. I watched him since high school. And we got Dante Dowdle. Bro, I know your whole team. You're not telling me nothing new, Mike. Your team ain't shit. Don't move the meter for me. Shout out to Nebraska. Shout out to Nebraska. Willie Bobo, the man with the no-no. Willie Bobo is a day one A1. Been here from the jump. Willie Bobo is the man. He says, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, Willie. Get at me, partner. Now, I will let you know, Willie does type really crazy. Willie doesn't type in regular English. I know what he's trying to say, though. I'm his translator. I know what he's trying to say. You ever had a friend like that? They be talking crazy, and you just be like, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I know what he meant. He just talk crazy. Yeah, for sure. I'm not talking about Ebonics. I'm talking about just saying some crazy shit. I got a cousin. We be playing video games, and he just goes, yo, I got to make some eggs. That means he's going AFK. Because 6 years ago, we were playing ranked games on Halo. Maybe it was 10 years ago. We were playing ranked games on Halo, and in a ranked game, he just, on the mic, I got my Turtle Beaches on. Homie just said, AFK, got to go make some eggs. And I swear to goodness, I hear that man cracking eggs and cooking eggs. So now, whenever you step away from the mic, he says, gotta go make some eggs. Nobody knows what the hell he's talking about. I do. Now we play video games with my son and another cousin of ours, and when we're all gaming together, I don't have much time to game during the football season, but in the off season, if we're gaming together, and he said, yo, I gotta go do that. Like, I know exactly what he's saying. He's got a phrase. He will text me and he'll be like, let's get dangerous. It's an inside joke. Because we were once behind a wall, and it was 2v6, search and destroy. And we're like, we got this. We're going to get all 6 of these dudes. We got this. And then we said on the mic, let's get dangerous. And then a grenade landed and killed us both in 1 second later. We both died. One grenade, boom, over. So now it's a joke. Hope you got people like that in your life, man, or your life sucks. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to Willie Bobo. He's one of those people for me, personally. Last episode was excellent. Shout out to Connor Formia. Watched it late last night. Oh, snap. Mood lighting. This one should be even better. It should, man. I'm going to get better over the year. You just got to get into the swing of things. First episode, got to get all the cracks out, kinks out. There are probably people watching this right now saying, he talks too much. I don't want to hear what he even has to say. Where are the picks? Shut up. All this stuff. All those people, we want them to fade away. There are fake fans, fake followers. We don't rock with them anyways. I talk about it all the time. We're gaining 100 new followers every day on TikTok. I'm trying to block 100 people every day. So I'm keeping the number the same. Like my channel, it looks like it's not growing. No, we're just cycling out. We're purging the closet, bro. We're just getting rid of the shit we don't wear anymore. Like, go. We don't need you. Anything negative, gone. We're just going to kick it with people who really rock with us. You ever had a house party? You look around at your house? You ever had a house party? You look around, you're like, wait, I don't really even like that dude. What's he doing here? Yeah, that's how it's working. It's my house right here. And I don't really rock with you. You need to go. And I'm not subtle about it. You just disappear, and you go the rest of your life not knowing anything about sports. Let's get it. What up, David Harvey? By the way, Connor Foreman doesn't miss a single video of mine. I appreciate that, man. Willie Bobo says, welcome to all the MVPs. Thank you so much, Willie, and shout out to the MVPs. They make my life possible. Rico is in the house. What's up? What's up, Carson? Good to see you, man. 4 says, I know you did ACC yesterday, but you were saying if Haynes King rushing prop was 37.5, take the over. Well, it's 38 plus at minus 120 on DraftKings. Just thought I'd let you know if you didn't already. Thank you, 4. I appreciate that. I'm going to give that one away for free, but that sounds like a lock for the MVPs. I would take Haynes King rushing yards all the way up to 45 yards. I think Haynes King is going to rush for 45 yards against Florida State. I think his receivers will be covered and he takes off running. He's got a great offensive line. There'll be really good play action. Jamal Haynes will get the respect he needs. And I think Haynes King is fast enough to outrun people. Haynes King is him. Give me 45 yards rushing. I got it right. Shout out to you, Willie Bobo. Some MVPs are better than others. Yes, they are. Nicholas Blystone knows. Some MVPs watch the videos, take good notes, and make better bets. Listen, if you are used to bets, if you are used to picks, and let me get those picks, that's not how this channel works. That's not how this platform works. I provide analysis. I'm the textbook to the test. You still got to go take that test yourself. I'm the textbook. You got to read everything I'm giving you. I got all the information for you. I'm telling you, I will describe a UFC fight or a football game, and you'll be watching the game and go, holy shit, this guy's 100% spot on. And you'll still miss on your bet. It's on you. Some guys will just do dumb things. Like some MVPs will hear the rushing yards, for example. You'll hear me say, oh, I like his rushing yards. And they'll go bet the over on the rushing yards. And then there's another MVP who will ladder his rushing yards all the way to 60 yards. And what if he wins more money than you? Some MVPs are better than others. And that's the point. Is like some people just don't get it. Some people are bad at it. Shout out to LB. We got an MVP named LB. He signed up for the whole year. If you go to Patreon, you can do an annual membership. LB is the worst gambler on the planet Earth. He shows up and he fades me all the time. Just goes out there and just picks shit willy-nilly. He watches a video and listens to the wrong part of the video. He'll be like, didn't you say do this? And everybody will be in the chat like, no, he never said that. He'll be like, I could have sworn he said that. LB's on some other shit. And if you take bad notes and you don't watch all the videos, you don't care about your money. So like if you blind tail the chart, you'll lose your ass. Blind tailing the chart is not what I make a chart. I don't say bet on everything on the chart. Not a chance in hell. I will tell you, oh, don't take this bet, guys. I'll be in a video saying don't take this bet, but I'll post the chart and then somebody will be like, I was too busy to watch the video. Then you're too busy to save your money. You're too busy to make money. You're so busy, you want to bet on something and you didn't watch the video and learn anything about it. You just want to bet on it. That's crazy. You got a sickness. You need some help. And there's a lot of those dudes. And they just leave the channel. We get it all the time. Trust me, it's a running joke when we're watching a fight or if a prop bet misses, how many people will cancel their MVP? It's a running joke because they're going to go lose money on their own. And I'm just like, yo, thanks for the donation. Always a good time with the MVPs. Yes, it is. Shout out to you, Carson. I appreciate you. JT Stevens says, yo, Rico, my bad for tweeting about Delaware State missed flight. That's on me. I wasn't thinking. Well, JT Stevenson, this is still a public forum. You just brought it up again in here. This is still public. The only place for information like that is the Discord server or in a DM, not in public. Just letting you know. Get Gotti is fire. There you go, Hunter Darling. Hey, Hunter Darling knows. What's up, man? Shout out to Hunter Darling. Always respectful to my military service and my knowledge. I appreciate him. Connor Formia says, I will not forget. Hey, guys, I make predictions. I make predictions every day. And I don't even sweat it when I get something right. I just keep going. Because I make so many, I get them right all the time. And if I miss, I don't really stress it. Remember, I grew up in a culture where, I grew up in an age where you went to the club, you asked girls to dance, bro. You had to ask a girl to dance. What happened? You get turned down. What do you got to do? Ask another one, and ask another one, and ask another one. You just got to keep going. I'm not handing you my phone, put your number in there. That's some weak shit, bro. That's not how we used to get down. You had to have self-confidence and belief. Nowadays, dudes just start grinding up on a girl, and they say they were dancing with her. They just start grinding up on a girl dancing. You used to have to go and ask for permission. Hi, would you like to dance? Hey, this is my favorite song. Would you like to dance with me? She'd say no. Dust off, try again. Dust off, try again. And just keep doing it. Right? And my point is I will make sports picks. I will make assessments. I will make predictions, and if I get them wrong, I don't stress it. I just keep it moving. When I get them right, Connor will remind me. Connor never forgets, bro. Connor will send me a DM and be like, do you know that back on June 18th of 2023, you predicted this? And I'll be like, oh, shit, was I right? He's like, yes, you got it right. I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. And then I'll make a video. And the reason we're going to flex all the hits is the same reason I was in the club and all those misses don't bother me, because the one yes I get, we're on the dance floor. And now everybody's watching going, oh my God, that could have been me. That could have been me. Oh my God. You know how many women are watching Kim Jones right now saying that could have been me? That could have, oh my God, if only I had listened, that could have been me. Kim's the only one who had the courage to get up and move down to Georgia, be with me, and pursue a life with me. That could have been me. I don't sweat the misses. Connor will let me know when I hit. And then I'll put it in everybody's face. And those of you who aren't MVPs, we win a ton of money. It's not a game. It's not a joke. MVPs are in the chat right now. If I was lying, these people would be telling you in the chat, Rico is missing. They would tell you in the chat, Rico's lying. I've been betting with Rico all year and I'm down 50 units. They would tell you. I'd be busted. That's not how it's happening, baby. That's not what's happening. What's happening is people are becoming MVPs and going, this can't be real. Why does TikTok not believe you? Why are all the trolls lying? Like, why are people saying this? Why is everybody saying you're missing? You're not missing at all. That's what the MVPs are. That's their reaction. The MVPs on the Discord server are like, this cannot be real. We're printing money. Every week. I'm right all the time, bro. Shout out to me. Shout out to me. Vegas Content Gap Channel. Good to see you, bro. He says, Nebraska homer here. Oh, wait. I skipped something. My bad. Let's go back. Is this on Discord too? Oh, no. This live stream is only on YouTube. Live stream's only on YouTube. The pics are on Discord, the screenshots, all kinds of stuff, but this is only on YouTube. On Saturday morning, it will be on Discord for MVPs only. There will be a live stream on YouTube for MVPs only, and it will be on the stage in Discord. You can only get there if you're an MVP on YouTube or you're in Discord. And then if you can't get in there, you have to wait till I'm done recording it like I am now, and then I will post it on Patreon, post it on YouTube for anybody who missed and couldn't get in. Remember, there's only 300 seats. People wake up at 6 a.m. to get in. Remember, I start at 9. People got to show up early. Only 300 seats. So many people wake up early and make sure they get there on time. There are only 3. We're limited to 300. Mr. Redskin says facts. I don't know what he said facts for, but I'll take it. Davis Harvey says, Rico, you know how to do all kinds of shit. Yeah. That's the craziest thing. I was talking to someone about that earlier today. The stuff I've done in my life, it would take like 6 lifetimes to do what I've done. I'm a cyber expert for the NSA for 10 years. I'm a military intelligence cyber expert. I can do all kinds of shit on a computer that I don't even do anymore. I can do all kinds of stuff. And I got abilities that'll get me paid. I'll never just be a normal person. And people be like, man, he's so full of himself. You don't know what it's like to be great. You don't know what it is to be me. I'm legitimately great at everything I do. Shout out to my pops. I grew up, my pops was the best DJ I've ever known, the best carpenter I've ever known. I just watched the man just be the best at what he does. And I said, all right, that's going to be me. And the work ethic I have is unrivaled, bro. The work I put in on this is insane. Ask Kim. She'll watch me work 20 hours a day. And it ain't nothing to me. I ain't dragging. I ain't mad. I'm here. That's why I'm up at 3 a.m. making UFC fight videos for my MVPs. Willie Bobo, is this being streamed on Discord for MVPs? No. No, it is not. I think I'm going to subscribe just to listen to you, Sensei Rico. Hey, Bendejo, that's exactly what you should do, bro. That's how we get down. Yo, how do I turn green? BP the Great. To turn green on this channel, you would have to become an MVP on YouTube instead of Patreon. You're already an MVP on Patreon, though, so I don't care. But yes, if you want to turn green, you get different badges every month. Or you can turn green if you become like the lowest level member. It's like $1. I don't know what it is. You become Rico's Roughnecks or something. You will get a different color name and badge. You don't have to be an MVP. You can turn green just by being like the smallest level member on this thing, if you want to. I read green comments first. Later on in the football season, once we get going, the chat's going to be too long to read everybody's comments. It'll take hours. It's just the nature of fandom and whatnot. Which platform is the best way to reach out to you on for consulting assistance with different schools? Foodie the Traveler, I would say Twitter. Twitter. My name is RicoKnows, TikTok, all one word. Twitter is probably the easiest to reach out. I check it every day. So there you go. What do you know about Peyton Pierce, MLB at OSU from Texas? I'm not sure he's in the too deep. If he's not in the too deep, I don't think I watched his film. So the answer would be nothing. I owe you an answer. I'll get back to you. That's the reality. Nate Carter running for 1K. Okay, Nate Carter starting running back for Michigan State, running for 1K. There you go. What do you think about Jonathan Smith? Do you think he can build something at Michigan State? So I've talked about Jonathan Smith for a number of years now. I really think he's an amazing coach. I talked about him glowingly after the 2022 season when they blew out Florida in the bowl game. I just know Jonathan Smith to build greatness out of nothing. Just, you have no resources at Oregon State. You're the little brother, and you're out there building greatness out of nothing. Now you're at Michigan State, same thing. I actually don't think the cupboard's bare at Michigan State. Like, you see I have them there at 13th, or you can't see, but I have a chart. I have them 13th in the Big 10, right? And that sounds terrible, but they're actually 50th in the country. Top 50? That's pretty damn good. I think the Big 10 is super deep. All the teams are pretty respectable, up to Illinois at 15 in the conference. But I like Michigan State. They just need to mature, get better. The cupboard's not bare. They got some stud players. I think they're going to be competitive, and Jonathan Smith's a hell of a coach. He really is. So shout out to him. If we are Patreon, will we be green on here or no? No, you will not. You will not be green on here if you're a Patreon MVP. Nebraska Homer here. Shout out to you. Oh, Nebraska Homers make me sick. If there is ever a career NFL backup equivalent in college football, I feel like it's Mike Wright at Northwestern. Serviceable, but not really going to keep the momentum going if the starter is good. David Pithen. So it's unfortunate. College has a different dynamic for backup quarterbacks. Your backup quarterback is typically inexperienced and never played before. But with the transfer portal, your backup quarterback can now be a journeyman who's injury prone or just didn't work out at the Power 4 level. You can see examples of that at Oklahoma. You can see examples of that at many schools now that you've never seen that before. Shout out to the transfer portal. Most teams, if you lost your starting quarterback, your season was over because you're bringing in a true freshman, somebody who's never played, and you need to hit lightning in a bottle. You need to get lucky and hope you get Dwayne Haskins, as long as he's not walking across the street, right? You need to get lucky and find somebody like that, but you're not going to find them for the most part. Your season's over once you lose your quarterback. Nowadays, you can get an older, serviceable guy who transfers back home, just wants to finish her career at home, maybe get into coaching. Shout out to the transfer portal. Shout out LB. Shout out to Nicholas Blystone. He knows LB's a terrible gambler. MVPs, ask LB for his bets so we can fade it. Yeah, whatever LB's betting, we're the opposite. LB showed me a betting ticket just this weekend, and he was on Adesanya. After I told him Adesanya is going to lose to DDP, DDP is going to end up drowning him, ragdolling him. I even had DDP by submission in the 4th round. Shout out to one of my MVPs. She bet it. But LB didn't care. LB faded me. And everybody's kind of looked at LB like, oh, my God, LB, you're going to lose. And he did. That's a fact. Rico, why does Vegas have Nebraska favored by 6 over Colorado after they smacked us last year? Trap or not? I think it's a trap. I think what they're valuing out of Nebraska is continuity within their coaching staff. And it's just hype. I don't get it. I think Colorado wins that game. I think Colorado's better than Nebraska. So I think Colorado wins 6 games, and that's one of them. First time watching. What up, Jiggy Productions? Thank you for being here. You got to start somewhere. Now you're gonna watch me for the first time, and I hope you learn a lot about these teams. I hope you learn a lot about college football, and you never look back. Delaware State news is all over Twitter. Yeah, Wyatt Windry. The difference is somebody yelling out what the spread is and why they're going to take it and all this other stuff. We don't get down with that. Missing the flight doesn't matter to me. Telling me, hey, Rico, they missed the flight. I'm now going to hammer this, blah, blah, blah. We're all in, locked. Like, don't do that. We do not talk about MVP level plays in public. That's the quickest way to get blocked. Blocked. Straight up. Just go out there. I'll refund your money. I don't need it. I don't need any of my stuff going anywhere. That's we run into this every offseason or every football season. It's no problem. Just some people just have diarrhea of the mouth. And it's nothing personal. I just have to have integrity. I just have to have what's the word I want to use? I just cannot lose my information like that. Got to protect it. Too many people are paying for it. MVP here, and we are winning. Shout out to Vegas guy. I believe you. I have dance moves. Believe that. All right, Willie Bobo. I believe you, bruh. Sacks counting for negative rushing yards don't scare you about Haynes rushing yards. Nope. I have already taken that into account, Ty. When I give advice on a bet, I know what college football props are. I know what stats are. Nothing you just wrote there changes my perception because I already know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate your input on that, but that's not teaching me anything. Like, I know sacks take away from rushing yards, right? So I already know that. Not even worried about that. That wasn't even part of the discussion. That's already been analyzed and associated. What I'm looking at is you could be worried about that. I'm looking at a 700-yard rusher who averages 50 to 60 yards a game, if you're doing the math, and they're telling me he's only going to go for 30-something. That's a 700-yard rusher last year. Second leading rusher on the team. If you looked at a team and you were getting prop bets for the second leading rusher to get 40 yards, you would take the bet. For the most part, especially if that rusher is their leading rusher in touchdowns, their second leading rusher in yards. Like, I've already processed all this. I already know all that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like I'm disregarding what you wrote. What I'm saying is telling me sacks count as negative rushing yards is a waste of energy. I know that. Of course I know that. That is my job. So thank you for the input, though. I appreciate you. I really do. I don't mean to be rude. Jonathan Smith was also a great quarterback himself. Shout out to the 2000s. Remember when his Beavers smoked Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl? Shout out to Sensei Rico. Yeah, I know their careers. I know Jonathan Smith was a great player. I don't care. I want him to be a great coach, and I think he is. Drew Pine at Mizzou is an example of that, for sure. It's another good example of a guy who just didn't quite pan out, but very valuable to be a backup quarterback. Haskins taking strays out of nowhere. It's not out of nowhere. His family is suing the city because he got hit by a dump truck when he was walking the street while he was drunk. They're trying to sue the city for speed limits. Some crazy shit like that. Best group of 5 skill position player. Best group of 5 skill position player. I mean, the go-to is Genty at running back, but Demir Blumpkinse at wide receiver for Memphis is amazing. Do you consider quarterback a skill position player? Or defensive back? Fuqua's great. At Buffalo, I'm going to talk about him later in the show. I mean, there's a bunch of guys. Right? We got 1 hour left on the show, guys. Just so you know, fight started 7 tonight, and I do have to go to that live stream with the MVPs. So imagine you only have to pay $25, do 1 hour of work a weekend, and make 400 plus. That's what it's like being an MVP. Shout out to Nicholas Blystone. So one thing I recommend for MVPs is do your own analysis. Do your own analysis on matchups, on bets, like you care about your money. Like, do your own analysis, write it all out. And then watch the videos, watch the chart, watch my picks. And when we match, make that bet. When we don't match, just avoid it. Don't let me sway you. Don't let me change your mind. But anytime you do your own research, you're over here, boom. You match with me, we might be onto something. Just joined the MVP today. Shout out to Mr. Redskins. I did see that, man. I hope you hook up your Just your account on Patreon to the Discord server. Please go to the collections playlist. Go to Discord. I want to see you in the live streams. I want to see you in the room tonight at all times. It's really important you guys do that. Don't just be an MVP on Patreon without connecting to the Discord. You'll be missing out on a lot of information, and I feel like I'm not giving you the full product. When is Sluka being named the starter? I think he already has been, Wyatt. I think he already has been, and we'll talk about that on Friday. Thanks, Nicholas. Buffalo looking like some shit this year. Trey Money. We will get into that. We'll get into that. Did you say something about only 300 spots for something? Yes. On Saturday mornings, there are only 300 seats allowed in the stage on the Discord server for the live stream of me giving you the final chart. So I give the final chart, all the picks, all the props. Only 300 people can see that video. I record it. It takes about 2 hours. And then once I'm done with the video, I post it on Patreon and YouTube. So you can get your picks at 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. It's up to you. A lot of MVPs get upset if they don't get in there. So they were all fighting for a seat. They'll get in there early. I'll start the stage at 6 a.m. so you can get your seat early. People be in there. I know Natasha's in there like this. She's asleep and just has her phone on and just waiting for me to do my thing. I'm just saying, you got to show up early. I have no control over the size of the stage. It's a limitation with Discord server. You can't have more than 300 people in there. That's not my problem. YouTube, if you're a YouTube member, if you're a YouTube MVP, and you signed up through YouTube, you can always watch the live stream because there's no limit on seats. But there's a limit on seats for the Discord server. Whole nother story. All right, guys, enough of that. Let's start talking about these Big Ten teams, and then we'll get to the MAC. Continue to write your questions in the chat. Please add them and as we go, and then we'll talk. All right, so there's no games this week, but we can talk about the review of the teams and how I view them. So first and foremost, they're in order by their rank. You'll see it here, their offensive totals, then their defensive totals, and then the team total. They're currently sorted by team total. And there's an overall column here. This is where I have them ranked overall in college football. Okay, in the entirety of college football, this is where they rank. You see it, Ohio State is number 2 in the country, number 1 in the conference. I think they're a very complete team. I'm looking at their quarterback. Feels like they brought in a journeyman, but don't get it twisted. He can actually run the rock. We did see him break for a really long run last year while at K-State, like 70 yards or so. He's not the greatest thrower, but he's got wide open wide receivers. He's got really good wide receivers. He will have a talent advantage in most games. So when you're surrounded with talent like that, it's really hard to fail. You got 2 really good running backs. One, Travion Henderson, does get injury prone, but I still like both of their running backs. The whole running back room is great. Wide receiver room is a 9 for me. A lot of that has to do with the fact they don't think they have the quarterback to take advantage of them like the 10s, right? I reserved 10 for some other wide receiver rooms in the country, but 9 is definitely not bad. Tight ends, losing Cade Stover to the draft. You have to make do with what you got. And I understand there's guys like Jelani Thurman. There's a lot of potential in the room, but it's not quite there. Just unverified talent. This can change throughout the season. The numbers can change, but it is what it is. Offensive line, I think they're complete, and I don't give a shit that Seth is starting from the Alabama transfer. He sucks. No, he does not. He was great at Alabama. He was the best center they had. He was the best player they had. If he sucked, he would have been benched. There wasn't anybody better. He was the best center in the transfer portal. Oh, what about so-and-so? He just showed up at Alabama. I don't care, bro. Ohio State's got an amazing offensive line. Defensively, no holes in the defense. I gave him an 8 at linebacker. It's just losing a senior leader, and now you have some other guys. But for the most part, the defense looks stout. Look, it's going to come down to coaching and getting it done, but I think Ohio State's a favorite to be in the playoffs, win a national title, things of that nature. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Oregon, incredible on offense. I still gave them an 8 at running back. They do have good running backs. Don't get it twisted. But it's just an 8 because you're not returning a 1,000-yard rusher. You're not returning a first-team all-conference guy. You're not returning a draft pick. But you do have a good player. You do have good players, I should say, in general. Wide receiver room's loaded. Tight end's good. Offensive line is legit. Love the quarterback. Love him. Straight up. Been watching him dominate since Oklahoma, since UCLA. I've seen him for 5 years. Greatness. Oregon, defense, good enough. They've been trying to find answers in the secondary. They brought in so many players in the transfer portal to try to address all the departures. I don't know how great they are, but they're good enough. The defensive line is great. Their front seven's pretty legit. So I really like Oregon. I'll say another thing about Oregon. I think their schedule's easy. Oregon's schedule is easy. And I know they got 1 or 2 good matchups, but for the most part, they're going to have a huge advantage. And they should win at least 10 to 11 games, no matter what. I have them winning at least 11. But yeah, Oregon's just going to go out there and do their thing. Michigan, I'm not sold on their quarterback. There is no Orgy in the end zone. I do not like Alex Orgy as a quarterback. I don't know how I feel about him personally. I just don't think he's not that guy. And there's no way to tell me he is. Don't go there. When I'm assessing the talent on rosters, I gave him a 4 because that's where the hell he's at. They got a good running back room. Wide receivers are kind of talented but unproven. Tight end's legit. One of the best in America. Offensive line is good. Great. Gave him a 9. It's pretty damn good. All right, probably the 4th best offensive line in the Big Ten, which is crazy, but it's there. Defensively, good luck, man. They're pretty stout up front. They're pretty stout everywhere. Yes, they lost some guys like Michael Barrett, who I believe in completely, but they still have studs everywhere. When you see a 9 at corner, someone's going to go, what? They got 9? They got the best corner in America. Yeah, but there's 2 corners, bro. So you got the best corner in America, and then you got another guy over here. And that's how I feel. So you can attack one of their corners. Scheme it, make it work, go attack one of the corners. But for the most part, Michigan's defense is going to lead them. They're pretty stout. They're going to win a lot of games because of that defense. They are the 3rd best team in the Big Ten. Then there's Penn State. I think Penn State has an easy schedule as well. I don't like Drew Aller at all, but they have a stout running back room. Just not as much production as anticipated or as needed. I think their offensive line has holes. I assess the offensive line. I don't like it for Penn State. I don't. Tight end's beast. Defensively, pass rush is real. And they had guys drafted. It don't even matter. Pass rush is real. And they're pretty competent everywhere. I even think they got a good coach. Everybody hating on James Frank. I like them. Iowa, stout defense. Don't like the corners. I assess their corners. I think they're pretty equivalent to like Alabama's corners, USC's corner. I don't like them. You can like them. You can do what you want with them. Linebackers are, linebackers, 2nd best linebacker room in America behind LSU. 2nd best linebacker in the room in America. I really like Nick Jackson. He was my number 1 transfer last year. He was my number 1 ranked. If you went and watched the playlist for best transfer portal players, I put Nick Jackson number 1. And here he is again. He returns back for another season. I like Iowa a lot on the defensive side of the ball. By the way, they're going to win some games. They're going to win some games because they don't play that daunting of a schedule. Wisconsin, it's their year to be competitive, man. They got some receivers that are gamers. They brought in a quarterback that can sling it. We'll see what happens. I like some of their young running backs, but they're unproven. The starting running backs I don't like at all. They look very underwhelming. Even Chaz being healthy, they played some running backs last year that should have never saw the field in Acre and stuff like that. But this is a running back room that's been decimated over the last 2 years. Decimated. They've had Braylon Allen leaving early for the NFL, Garindo leaving in the transfer portal, and then going to the NFL out of Louisville. He was at Wisconsin. So they're having to play guys who would normally be 3rd or 4th string, and they're the guys. And that's weird. I look at their freshman class, though. There was 2 guys on tape in their freshman class that I just can't take my eyes off. And one of them is Dylan Jones. I think he should get in the 2 deep at some point during the season. Finish the year with 300 yards rushing. Dylan Jones looks like an NFL running back. Nobody's talking about him except for me. I'm just letting you know. Watch the tape. Wide receiver room. Will Paulding is him. Will Paulding is him. He's going to embarrass some folks. Shout out to Wisconsin. Defensively, I love their secondary. The back end of that defense is for real. Ricardo Hallman is everywhere. And there's a guy named Waller, the little white dude, the safety. Dudes are beasts. Shout out to Wisconsin. I believe in them. Rutgers just took a huge hit at linebacker. I haven't changed their numbers yet, but they're going to take a hit at linebacker. I'm probably going to move them down to a 7. They still got depth there. Like I said, like I opened the show up and talking about them. It's just unfortunate. Offensively, Ethan Kaliakmanis linking back up with his old offensive coordinator in Kirk Soraka, having some good receivers come in the transfer portal, but none of that really matters. You got to just run the rock behind a good offensive line, dominate, win the field position game with your defense, and you'll be fine. By the way, Greg Schiano's a hell of a coach. USC, I'm ranking them pretty low, and I know there's some homers out there, and there's Lincoln Riley fans, and they can definitely take the roof off this joint. But I think they got to get Zachariah Branch the ball 100 times this year. I think they need to figure out, get that kid the ball everywhere. I don't like their running back room, but Miller Moss, finding those receivers looked very good in the bowl game, so I hope they make it work. When I looked at their offensive line, it looked terrible. I actually think Fresno State has a better offensive line than USC. I'm telling you, I assess talent. And that's how it looks to me. Defensively, linebackers, they brought in a stud, the leading tackler from Oregon State at linebacker, and the safety as well, his brother, two brothers. They look the part. They look the part. They look improved on defense. Bringing in a defensive coordinator from UCLA, bringing in a defensive safety from UCLA. Hopefully they figure it out. But they're in the middle of this thing. They're down there at 8. Minnesota, best running back room nobody talks about. I gave it a straight 10. Darius Taylor is him. Backup running back is Saban Gora. He's a 1,000-yard rusher from Ohio, and he looks like a pro. Third string running back is legit. They got 5 running backs. They are collecting running backs. So they have all the depth in the world at running back. Quarterback Max Brosmer coming in from the FCS, one of the nation's leading passers in the FCS. Complete stud. Hopefully he can sling it in the cold weather. We'll see. Outside of that, defensively, yeah, they got some corners. Indiana, very encouraged by Indiana. If you don't know, MVPs have a video where I talked about Indiana forever. And I told you Indiana's great. I love everything Kurt Cignetti's doing. Everybody they're bringing in, wide receiver room's legit, quarterback, offensive line. Defensively, I think they got the pieces to be good. They just need to all come together. They need to put it all together. I really like them. Nebraska, tell me the defense is good. I think it's good, man. I gave it a 72. It's as good as USC's. I think it's pretty good. I gave it a 72. People are mad about it. They think it's even better. I didn't see it. I watched the tape, did my assessment. You're starting a true freshman quarterback. I hope your defense is great. He's going to need all the help he can get. Purdue, Ryan Walters develops players. He has Cade Hudson Card at quarterback. Obviously, losing Deion Burks hurts at wide receiver, but getting Jamal Edrin back is going to be a big piece. You guys are going to learn about Jamal Edrin this year. You're going to see him on the field and go, oh, yeah, RicoKnows talked about him. That's right. I think he's that great. So I'm big on Purdue. Just kind of, it sucks, man, because Reggie Love showed up in the transfer portal as a running back from Illinois, the starting running back from Illinois. Came in, he showed back up because they found a real running back, like a beast of a man. And they also have Maccabee. I think they have players, man. When I look at Purdue, they have players, but nothing too exceptional until you get to the secondary. Dylan Thieneman is the 3rd best safety in America. I tell everybody, you must watch Dylan Thieneman. He's an NFL player. He was my hidden gem before the season started last year. I talked about him. I'm still raving about him. It's like the way I feel about Emmett Mosley right now, the wide receiver at Stanford, is a true freshman wide receiver in the starting lineup. As soon as I saw the tape, I said, how do they only give this guy 3 or 4 stars? When I saw Dylan Thieneman for the first time, I think he got 3 stars, and I was like, no. He's better than his brothers who were team captains at Purdue for multiple years. I just said, no, you guys got this wrong. And I feel that way. But Purdue's got their work cut out. They could shoot up, man. Purdue could do some things. They got a real coach. Real coaches, period. Michigan State, speaking of real coaches, they got them. Love Michigan State. Jack Valen coming in the transfer portal at tight end. Just broke the school record at Oregon State for touchdowns. Complete stud. Aiden Childs is cool. He's chill. Aiden Childs is him. At quarterback, pretty solid. Decent running back room, not bad. Offensive line is very good. I think their offensive line is underrated. Michigan State, they look good. When I assessed them. Defensively, that linebacker room is stacked. Just brought in a transfer linebacker from Wisconsin. He was a multi-year starter at Wisconsin. Now he's starting. They tell me Cal Halliday's backing up on this thing, and Cal Halliday's one of the leading tacklers on this team. And they tell me he's backing up now. I think he was 1st or 2nd in tackles last year. So that's crazy. That linebacker room's loaded. Love the depth. Hope they do something with it. UCLA, Deshaun Foster, please. Just go win, bro. Go figure it out. He will not win a lot this game or this season. UCLA's got a daunting schedule, and I don't like the way it looks. Illinois, I could be really wrong about Illinois. I'm just going to be clear. I love their secondary. I know a lot of the players in that secondary, and they're playing really well. They brought in some stud transfers. Their linebackers look like they're going to lead the defense, but the secondary could be stout, and then the offense could just surprise me. Fagan, the running back, I think he's 6'3", 240. He's like a freak, like a monster. Looks like Herschel Walker, only bigger. They could do something, man. And it hurts me to put them down here. I assess the talent. It is what it is. But they could conceivably be up here in 10th place. Like, they could. You never know. It's the preseason, and I might be assessing the talent wrong. I can admit that. I think Illinois has a chance to really show out. They do. A team that doesn't have a chance to show out is Maryland. I think Maryland's terrible. I don't think Maryland wins more than 4 games this year. If you got them winning 6 games, that's on you. I don't have Maryland winning more than 4. Maryland looks bad. I think they fire their coach. I think they fall apart. I don't like Maryland. I think Maryland is actually starting the wrong players. Listen to what I'm saying. There are better players on the bench at Maryland than the ones they put on the field. I think they assess talent incorrectly at Maryland. Washington, cupboard's bare. Everybody left. They didn't bring in much. I'm convinced when you have a new head coach and he only brings 6 players from his previous team, it's not good enough. You got to bring more. You got to bring more Louis luggage. That's not enough Louis luggage. 6 players, didn't get all the stars to leave Arizona to come with you. You just lost an absorbent amount of draft picks. Shit looks terrible, bro. They're down to like their 5th string tight end, 5th string lineman because of all the departures, graduations, transfers, everything. It's really bad. Shout out to them. They did keep a couple leading tacklers in the secondary. They did bring in a good corner. Probably shot. I mean, he's tall, 6'3" or whatever. Northwestern, cupboard's bare, and I think they win 1 game this year. So there you go. Northwestern does not look good. The sports books have them at like 4.5 wins, by the way. I'm giving this away for free. I don't believe in Northwestern like that. All right, so keep adding to the chat. I'll get there. I'm going to move over to the MAC, though, because we got to end this show here within the next 45 minutes, and I don't want to drag it out. I'll get to the questions here, whatever. So here's the MAC. Here you go, and I want to make sure I fit this all in, so bear with me. I didn't shorten some of these columns. I'm going to show you the sausage being made right now. I apologize, guys. I don't like to do this while on screen. Let's move this over just so you guys can see the rankings and whatnot. I'm sorry. Not very professional of me. Oh, well. If you know an easier way of doing this, then please speak up, but this is me, bro. I'm not an Excel guru. I do a lot of formulas, but I'm a cyber expert, not an operator. I don't work with specific operating systems. I'm agnostic to tools. I can do anything. But here we go. Okay. The MAC. We'll start at the top. Shocked the world. I put Northern Illinois as the #1 team in the MAC. After watching film and assessing them, I think they have the recipe for success in the MAC. They're going to run the ball with a 1,200-yard rusher and a great offensive line. They do not have a quarterback. I gave them a 1. I don't know who their quarterback is. It was Rocky Lombardi. He finally graduated and moved on to bigger and better things like the rest of his life, maybe selling insurance or whatever. Their wide receiver room isn't the greatest, but it's a simple recipe. They got running backs. Their coach used to be a good running back. They just run the rock. They got a great offensive line, and their defense is the bee's knees. They have a very good defense. I promise you, they have a very good defense. Now, I'm going to leave it like that. Now, when we talk about Toledo, if you go look at like the all-conference rosters for the preseason all-conference rosters for the MAC, there's Toledo players all over it. There's Miami of Ohio players all over it. And I'm like, okay. I don't know what they're trying to sell me. They're like trying to convince me these guys are better than they are. That's how I feel. Toledo is one of the most inefficient teams or inconsistent teams I've seen in years. And they just lost their starting quarterback. They didn't get better with Tucker Gleason. And we know how bad they were last year on offense. They weren't getting Newton the ball. I don't know if you guys know the MAC as well as I do. Like, let me explain. We are MVPs. My people are MVPs. That means we bet on weekday games. That means we know MAC action football. We know Conference USA better than Vegas, better than anybody in the world. And I win these bets like crazy. At one point, I was 20-3, 18-3 on weekday games against the spread. I just dominate these conferences. I know them. And when I look at this, I'm like, why are they trying to convince me that these teams are good when I know they're not good offensively? I know they're good defensively. Toledo has a really, really stout defense. I appreciate them. Miami of Ohio, great offensive line. They're telling me Gabbert's coming back, and everybody's telling me Gabbert's a 5 at quarterback. Listen to what I'm saying. Everybody's telling me Gabbert's a 5 at quarterback. I'm going to talk to you guys about that when I get this screen down. Miami of Ohio has great linebackers, 2 of the very best in the whole conference. That's why you see it's an 8. They're better than everybody. You will see these teams in the MAC are ranked really low. I don't have a lot of respect for the MAC as a whole. I think they have a lot of the worst teams in America. When I did an assessment of the talent, it looks like just utter drop-off everywhere. It does not look good. A lot of attrition. If you can play football, you left. Like Ohio. Ohio has an amazing coach. Tim Albin, they got it, bro. They got a great coach in Albin. They lost everybody in the transfer portal. They lost first, second, third string quarterbacks. First, second string running backs. They lost everybody. Are they going to be terrible? Probably not. They'll probably figure it out because they got a good coach. But the only team I saw retaining talent in this whole conference was Miami of Ohio and Bowling Green, and Miami of Ohio still lost a great edge rusher to Oklahoma. Bowling Green, man, we'll get into this. So look, when I look at a team like Bowling Green, they're the one team on this whole chart that I'm super excited about. Connor Bazelak coming back to be the starting quarterback again. There's continuity there. Was he great? No. But I think he knows how to play the game of football. I watch him, and when I watch his tape, he's doing progression reads. He's finding the right targets. He doesn't have great wide receivers. At least he didn't. He does this year. He has decent wide receivers. And Harold Fannin is the best tight end, I don't know, arguably the best tight end in America. If I'm an NFL team, I'm drafting Harold Fannin Jr. Number 44. Go watch tape. Led the team in receiving. Absolute beast. Running back, Terron Stewart. Absolute beast. They got players, bro. I'm telling you guys these rosters, and I don't have no charts in front of me or nothing. It's all up here. I really believe in these teams like that. I believe in these teams like that. Western Michigan, love what they're building. I hope Buckley's healthy all year. They're running back. He's good. He's good. There's good players out there on Western Michigan. I'm excited to see what they do. Ohio, they better find it. And then we just have, And I want to say this, though. Although we have, and I don't like what I see down here, Eastern Michigan has a good coach and a good team. They can figure it out. Akron's defense is underrated. Their wide receiver room is underrated, and their defense, and I'm even underrating them. Because there are parts of Akron's defense that actually looks pretty decent. And I still have them down here at 34. And there are parts that are all conference, whatever. Buffalo, the cupboard's bare as hell. And it's getting worse down here. I got a DM today about Kent State. I won't show you the DM. I posted it on the Discord server. But they had an injury at running back. So they're down to one running back. Let me do this, though. This is the preseason All-MAC team. And if you go to third team, you got Connor Bazelak at Bowling Green. Like I said, I'm excited to see what he does. Kai Thomas going to Kent State. This is a relationship-driven transfer. Kai Thomas, coming out of high school, played at Topeka, and he rushed for over 3,000 yards in high school. Over 3,000 yards. Ends up going to Minnesota. Can't get on the field in Minnesota. Transfers to Kansas. Can't really do, he's at Kansas for a little bit. And now he transfers, and he's over here at Kent State. So why is he at Kent State? Well, because Kenny Burns is the old running backs coach for Minnesota. So the head coach at Kent State is the guy who recruited him to go to Minnesota in the first place. So it sounds like a match made in heaven. Good luck. Barksdale at Buffalo. If you believe in that, Mike Washington should have been their starting running back right now. And he just left to go to New Mexico State. You can't be losing players to New Mexico State. This kind of stuff doesn't move me. I don't even know if Cade McDonald's a good wide receiver. Cade McDonald's a good return man. If you don't know Cade McDonald, he played at Naperville Central in high school. They won the state title. They had that all-star team with Jaden Reed, Cade McDonald, Peyton Thorne, and Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson's a wide receiver now at Auburn with Peyton Thorne, the starting quarterback at Auburn. Jaden Reed's in the NFL. And Cade McDonald's the other guy. Cade McDonald used to be at Michigan State with all of them. Peyton Thorne, Cade McDonald, Jaden Reed, they were all at Michigan State. So this is a guy who comes from a big school, should finally get it done, but he's 5'11", 200 pounds. He's not that great. He's a punt returner. I like little Anthony Sambucci. This dude's cool. He's cool to cheer for. Tanner Koziel, he hit the transfer portal, was supposed to go to Louisville, then backed out and came back home to Ball State. Totally irrelevant. Ball State's not going to do anything with the ball. I'm just letting you know. Let me see here. That was defense. That was offense. Defense. I'm looking. Guys who catch my attention when I watch tape. I like Sip a lot. Joseph Sip at Bowling Green catches my attention. Wahlberg's decent. Don't really move me. It's all good. We'll go to second team real quick. Marcus Fuqua. I talked about him just a second ago. I think he's a stud. Buffalo safety, complete stud. Tate Halleck, Western Michigan, 6'4", transfer from Michigan State as well. Local kid. He's a beast. He's physically imposing. I've talked about Cone many times. Transfer from Indiana State to Sycamores. Good size corner. Hope he does well. Keontae Newsome led the team in tackles, got on the field due to injury, and then showed out once he got on the field. Antavius Fish, a JUCO transfer, liked the kid. Almost did a Hidden Gems video on him until I saw the tape, and I believed in his teammate a little more. That's a true story. I was going to make a Hidden Gems video on this guy. I was going to tell the world about Antavius Fish. Really was. And then I turned on the tape, and I saw somebody else who I thought was better. What is this, second-team offense? Anthony Torres. I have Anthony Torres as the 5th best tight end in the group of 5. 5th best tight end in the group of 5. Number 1, Harold Fannin. Number 2, the kid at Liberty. Number 3, the kid at, I can't remember. I just posted the list on Twitter like 3 days ago, so go find it. But Anthony Torres was my number 5 guy. I like Anthony Torres a lot. They don't get the ball to Vandross enough. Pruitt's legit. So is Randolph. Alex Adams, former LSU wide receiver, was injured. Hopefully he comes back from injury and he plays great and Akron knocks it out the park. But Alex Adams probably doesn't belong in the MAC. He's pretty good. Marion Luke's not bad. Ricky Hunt, this is all hype. This is them just convinced themselves that Ohio's got a good run. Like, that's crazy that he's on the all-conference list. And same with Tucker Gleason. This is just crazy. I haven't seen these dudes do shit. Jacquez Stewart's legit, but I don't know what that's about. Didn't I just tell you Cade McDonald's a punt returner? First team. Then I just, man, what's up with these cats? Looking at the defense again, shout out to Ty Wise and Matt Salopek. Didn't hit the transfer portal, could have, would have got paid. These two are beasts. Miami of Ohio linebackers. Sean Dolick, former nation's leading tackler in solo tackles. Went to Utah State for about 6 months, then came back to Buffalo. Congratulations. There's a stud. Rasheem Thomas. Hey, you know what? These guys are all pretty damn good up front. Even C.J. Nunley. All these guys are legit, but Thomas sticks out to me because I think Northern Illinois is winning this conference. I know I sound crazy saying this. I know. Jerwan Newton at Toledo, they don't get him the ball enough. Kenneth Womack gets the ball more than enough. Kenneth Womack's a little beast-ass slot receiver. He's going to ladder his yards. He's going to do his thing. He's always open. No one can cover him. No one can cover Kenneth Womack. Figure that out. Terrence Stewart, if he's ever healthy, he's dominant. Jalen Buckley, dominant when healthy. Both of these running backs are great. And Antero Brown, to me, is the best running back in the conference. Going to go for like 1,500 yards. And then there's Brett Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert's little brother, can make NFL-level throws. I have a problem with Brett Gabbert. When I watch him on tape, I think he holds the ball too long, and I think he gets sacked a lot. Brett Gabbert, if he ever has a rushing yard prop, take the under, he gets sacked a lot. And when I say a lot, like I see him get sacked 4 times here against Kent State, who's not a good defense, getting sacked multiple times, right? But I can go back. I think I can go back look at that, 7 sacks against Western Michigan. There's just no way you should be sacked this many times. Throw the ball away. The offensive line at Miami of Ohio is the strength of their team. And this dude's always been getting sacked his whole life. I go back 2019, sacked 3 times. Like, I don't know, sacked 6 times. Western Michigan again. They must have his number 5 times. Cincinnati. The dude just gets in games. I'm watching him. He's just like, and he can make some throws. I don't know how he's the first team. Hopefully he goes out and balls out. All right, but that's my preview on the MAC. Obviously, during the season, I'll talk about their schedule, who they're playing next week. I'll talk about something like this. I'll give you guys a freebie. Shout out to the MVPs. I have Lafayette beating Buffalo on the road. An FCS school beating Buffalo. I'll make a video on it in depth and talk about the spread. I don't know what the spread is right now, but I'm telling you, I have Lafayette beating Buffalo week 1. Real talk. So let's go ahead and go to the questions. And then we'll wrap up the show. Thank you guys for being here. If you got any questions, TikTok, move over to YouTube, drop it in. Shout out to you guys. All right, we'll go back to chat, and we'll end the show. Thank you guys for being here again. Shout out to all the MVPs. Let's see what we got. Where was I? Just joined today. Shout out to Redskins. I was on Ashley Montgomery. I'm a big OSU fan, and that Oregon game makes me sick looking at it. Yeah, nobody wants to see that. You'll be okay. That's a tough one. Hang in there. See what happens. It's the regular season. I'm late to the party, Rico. Hey, if you guys ever come late to the live stream, if you're ever late to a podcast, go to the very beginning of the show, set the playback speed to 1.25 speed, 1.5 speed, and watch the whole show. No need to skip stuff. You can go back and you'll catch up eventually. And you'll catch up to where we're at right now. You'll be fine. Real talk. Lewis Henton, Roll Tide Roll, good to see you, man. Great show, Rico. Can't wait for the season to start. Thank you so much, Willie Bobo. Me neither. So Bowling Green will be surprising people. They're not surprising me. I'm expecting it. They might surprise people who's sleeping on them. Is Iowa's offense going to be the same on offense? No. Iowa obviously fired their offensive coordinator, got a new one. But when you go, and I talked about this all offseason, and I've talked about this with MVPs, and so I hate to sound like a broken record, but if you're ranked 130th in the country in offense, and you get a new offensive coordinator, how much are you going to improve by? Where are you going to be? You think you're going to be top 50 all of a sudden? It'll take a whole lot of cycles of new players. You're going to need a whole lot of new players. It ain't happening like that. If they improve on offense, they'll be a top 100 offense. That'll be a drastic improvement. They'll go from 130 to 100. 30 spots is huge. It's 30 other teams working hard all offseason, and you're going to pass them? Think about it. So they're still not going to be good on offense. They need to start Sullivan at quarterback, by the way. I'm telling you guys this. He's a beast. What about Iowa's defense? I came in late. Rewind the show and go learn. I already talked about him. Kenneth Womack also might be the best point guard at Western Michigan. Oh, I didn't know that, Chaz Crawford. I didn't know that. News to me. Hey, shout out to you for the extra additional information. Beast. He's just a crazy athlete, man. He's just open. You can't cover him. The dude, I like that dude. He's nice. Was your boy from Toledo that went first round DB really like that? Darvis Harvey. Yes. Yes, Quentin Mitchell is really like that. He was number 1 on my chart for a reason, and I bragged about him all season. And then the NFL and all the casual fans learned about him. And that's what bugs me, is I'll be in here talking about all these players, and then after the season, these scouts and all these Twitter fingers, they'll all start talking about who ranks what, and they'll pretend like they've known these players their whole lives, and they've known them for 2 months and never watched them play a single down of football. They went back to watch it after the fact. When we watched this shit happen in 4K right in front of us our whole lives. I've been watching all these players since high school. That's how much research I do, right? So I can't get down with these people who just discover these players right now. It kind of bugs me. It's the reality of the situation. You're goated, Rico. Love the content. Thank you so much, K Saddy. Thank you for the support. Your guys' unwavering support is what's goated. I appreciate you guys. Didn't Northern Illinois have a good team last year? They had one of the top defenses in the MAC last year. I don't know if they had a good team. I mean, I watched them play every game. I wouldn't say they had a good team. The good teams were Ohio, Miami of Ohio, Toledo. You know, there was a different echelon. And then they were down here, and they just had, a good defense. I think they have a good defense again. And I think the other teams all kind of regressed. I think the other teams lost their weapons, lost their pieces. You don't lose Rashad Amos and just keep chugging along. You don't lose a 1,400-yard rusher and be like, yo, it's all good. Or Ohio losing both running backs and both quarterbacks. And they're just like, oh, yeah, we got this. No, you don't. No, you don't. So that's how I feel. Is the defensive injury for North Texas to the transfer a big deal? Can't think of his name, but wanted to see your thoughts. That'll be a conversation for another day. That is not the MAC or the Big 10, but I appreciate the question. Thank you, Asher Montgomery. Isham Young, the transfer from Ole Miss, yeah. We'll talk about it when it's time to talk about the American. We'll talk about it then. Are you active after the show today? What do you mean, am I active, William Oakley? Am I active? I will be live streaming after this. We will be watching the UFC fights at 7 o'clock. We will be on the Discord server. I will be giving live bets and analysis for the Dana White Contender Series tonight. So I'll be doing that for the next 2 hours. So if you guys wanted to show up, I'm there. I'm obviously always available in DMs on Twitter and the Discord server. If you just go to one of the chat rooms. You guys, if you're not an MVP, please become one and get connected to the Discord server so you can get all the picks and analysis before it's too late. I appreciate you guys' support. We're going to end the show here so I can take a little 30-minute break before the fights tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Just remember, I couldn't do this without you guys. Shout out once again to King Utensil. King Utensil is the only person who signed up on YouTube to be an MVP today. I appreciate it. I want YouTube MVPs. I want Patreon MVPs. I want MVPs everywhere because I want you guys to make your money. I really do. It ain't about me. I'm good. Trust me. I'm good. All right? I ain't sweating nothing. I'm never asking for an extra dime. I didn't raise the price of MVP. I'm not begging for tips. I don't need nothing, bro. I'm good. I'm trying to get you paid. That's real talk. MVPs know the deal. We're out here trying to take care of each other. I believe in everything that we're doing. I hope you guys win a ton of money. I hope you make the best of it. Thank you guys for being here. And just remember, I say this often, and I mean it, but your friends don't know. So stop asking them. But Rico knows. Peace, y'all.